MD Prepper here, doing a quick video talk and bit of a review and overview of travel prepping. And when I say travel prepping, I don't mean bugging out or SHTF, anything like that. I mean, what happens when you have to go someplace on vacation or on a trip? You need to prep for it. You need to carry some gear because, well, maybe you're a little paranoid like me or you just think it's a good idea. I'm going to recount a recent episode I just had this past weekend. I had to fly out to Colorado for a wedding. And as you know, there's lots of flooding out there, at least there was at the time. Lots of destruction, lots of damage, power outages, etc. And before I left, I said, you know, I better prep a little bit. I better carry some gear with me. Might be a good idea and a good thought experiment to talk about later. So, I'll be showing you all the gear I took with me, my rationale behind it, and I'd really appreciate your comments and feedback and critique of it, frankly. And let me go ahead and say, I did over-prepare. I definitely took too much gear. I know that, but I tend to be redundant. One is done, two is one. I like having backup and extra gear, so that's that. And again, like I said, I was not necessarily expecting trouble or anything, but you're never expecting trouble. If you expected trouble, you'd stay at home. So, now, the first problem I ran into is obviously you can't take a lot of stuff with you on the airplane. A lot of the gear that you and I would love to have with us, TSA is not going to allow. So a lot of my gear is based on what I checked in my luggage. But honestly, ultimately, it did not take up a whole lot of space, and I had the extra space left over. I left on a Thursday and came back on a Sunday evening late, so basically 4 days there, 3 nights, and I'll show you what I got. Let me start, when I carried with me, let me start with the gear I had on me, my, I don't say EDC, but what I had on me on the plane, what was plane legal. Had a bandana, nobody bad night that, had that in my carry-on bag, which I'll cover here in a second. Decided carrying one of these little super absorbent washcloths would be a good idea for any number of things, stopping bleeding or soaking up water that's drinkable in a rainwater, something like that. Just thought this would be a good idea. It folded up real nice and small, doesn't weigh anything, so why not? Got this little Right in the Rain pad that I use for all sorts of things. Got this from Maxpedition a long time ago for free, but figured out if I'm going to a monsoon, I better be able to write things down and not have it wash away or fall apart on me. So, you know, the address of the hotel, directions, those types of things as I was riding around, had that. A pen. I always carry my pen with me. I always write with a good gel pen. This is the one I always carry with me all the time and replace the inside with. I always carry this everywhere I go. Being a doctor and all, gotta have a good pen. But this is also a good defensive weapon. Nice Kubotan if you need it to be. Okay, this is, I believe, an aluminum frame pen or heavy plastic. I'm not entirely sure, but got a nice heavy metal tip on it, nice and weighty. This thing's going to stand up if you have to jab somebody in the eye or in the neck in case somebody goes wacky on me on the airplane and we can't subdue them or something like that. That's just one of my thoughts. Maybe this is overthinking, but I want something I can defend myself with, and this is a heck of a lot better than nothing. So, again, I can write with it too. Goes with the Right in the Rain. So, there's that. I have a little pocket whistle here just to have it for signaling, etc. Again, going into the rainstorms and all of that where they're having lots of evacuations in Colorado. Figured it was a good idea. So, good signaling device. Now, keychain, one of them. I've got a little bit of paracord here, and instead of my standard big flashlight, which I figured they wouldn't let me carry, I've got this little magnetic doohickey that I've never really used a whole lot. It's got a little magnetic piece back there to put it places if you want to use it. Not a lot of lumens. I don't know why it's not coming on for me at the moment, but oh, there it goes. There you go. Just a little flashlight, magnetic holder there. They let me take that in without any questions, so I figured, hey, why not? I didn't want to lose one of my better flashlights. My multi-tool here I did not take with me on the flight. I put it in my check-in bag, check bag, just because I figured they may take that from me, and I like this little thing. So, but I put it on right after I got to where I needed. So, had some cordage with me. Paracord bracelet, just a little cheap one I had laying around. Decided to throw that in as well, just because cordage is hard to come by. Might as well have it. Might be of some use. And again, took up virtually no space. Now here's something I actually checked, and this is definitely overkill, guys, but I'm a doctor, and well, this is in my purview, is the QuikClot trauma pack, and an extra QuikClot as backup. This I took on the airplane, no problems whatsoever. They didn't bat an eye. Of course, had some my license, my little pocket license card with me in case anybody was questioning this gear or anything with me. But all this stuff pretty much looked like I was going hiking in Colorado. Was one of my other thoughts. Was, you know, they knew I was going to Colorado, and well, if everything looks like hiking gear, they're probably not going to bat an eye. So I can cover a lot of things with this, not just trauma. It's got duct tape, it's got sterile nitrile gloves, trauma pads, gauzes, triangular bandages, etc., etc. So this is my little mini medical kit. It doesn't cover everything, but man, I could do a lot with this if I needed to. So overkill, yeah, but I carried it with me anyway because I could. So didn't use it obviously, but best gear you take with you is the stuff you never used. Now, moving on. Before I talk about things that I checked in my luggage, let me talk about my carry-on bag. My carry-on bag actually was part of my gear. It's this ASAP survival gear bag that I've used before. I've got 3 or 4 of these things. Got these from CDN Investments. Love this bag. They come in red and blue, but I figured blue was the least obtrusive. It does have MOLLE webbing all over it, but it's not too obtrusive. It's not military. It's not tactical, etc. It just looks like a standard bag, okay? Lots of pockets. I've got some granola and crackers and Nutter Butters and other stuff like that that's not on here. Got pockets and more pockets and more pockets. It's got a pouch here for a water bladder, which I'll get to in a minute. It's got some drainage holes down in the bottom in case this thing gets wet. And again, I figured going out to Colorado, not a bad idea. Side pouches, water bottle, etc. Carry handle. This thing's going to hold a lot of gear if I needed it to, if I had to hike out or grab gear to go. So this is part of the kit, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But that was my carry-on bag, which worked very, very well overall, and would definitely carry that again. Highly recommend those bags. Used them a lot. Like I said, I've got 3 or 4 of them. This was a new one I just decided to take with me, so I didn't have to empty out an old one. So the ASAP bag, definitely a plus to have along with me for versatility and all. As soon as I got to the airport, first thing it passed the checkout anyway. First thing I did was buy a giant bottle of water, even though it cost me like $4. At least I can carry it with me and I have it there as an extra bottle to carry water with. So that was an addition that obviously I don't have anymore because I left that in Denver. Now, moving on, let's see. Oh, one other thing that I did not check that was in the ASAP bag, and this is not folded up properly, but this is a little rain jacket. It's a 511 foldable rain jacket, and it's not folded up. I just squeezed it up, but it folds up to about this size. Relatively small, relatively lightweight. Just to have it, light windbreaker, keep the water off me if I needed it, so why not? Also had a relatively heavy rain jacket that I carried with me on the plane, wrapped around my waist. Didn't take up any space because, well, it was with me the whole time. Didn't end up using it, but oh well. Better have it not needed than needed not have it. Now, things that I checked. Now, I only carried one bag that I checked. Normal size, etc. And I had a lot of space left over. So I said, why not fill it up? Going through things, the rest of my EDC that I checked, Spyderco Tenacious, had to have this. This is just under the minimum carry size law in Colorado. Checked that before I left. That's my primary blade. I kept that in a side pouch outside the luggage to pull out in a hurry, just to put in my pocket as soon as I got my bag back. My standard flashlight, my little Nebo Blue Line, which I carry all the time. Nice little Kubotan there if you need it. Decent number of lumens, look down throats and do the doctor thing with that a lot in a hurry. Other stuff that I had with me, had an extra bandana in the check-on bag, because why not? Bug spray, lots of water around, probably bugs. This little folding blade, the Ian Sinclair, you've seen that one before, the Card Sharp. Again, this is usually my EDC, this is usually my wallet, but obviously couldn't carry a blade in my wallet at the airport, so that went in my wallet as backup in a hurry. Little Fresnel lens in the wallet, not a bad idea. A little multi-tool card, they might have allowed this to the airport. I didn't want to lose it though, it'd be the only one, so I checked this too and just pulled it out and put it in my wallet as soon as I got there. So, $1, use this thing all the time. This was the most used gear in the trip. Opened lots of beer bottles with this thing. Very useful. So, gotta have that. What else did I check? Little cylinder full of Benadryl and Tylenol and Motrin, etc., just in case I need it. Also carried, don't have it here, a bottle of broad-spectrum antibiotics. I'm a doctor, I can get those, obviously. Good to have just in case somebody gets sick or need those, so not a problem there. Now, one thing I really wanted was a blade, a fixed size blade, something decent, but I didn't want anything too obtrusive. First thought, I got room to check it, was Cold Steel Bushman. Then I realized, this is going to look suspicious as hell. This is a big scary knife. Somebody may pull this out or something from TSA. Probably not. I'd love to have this if I had to get into a fight or, you know, survive out in the woods or something. This is the way to go. So, nah, this is overkill, even for me. What I went with was something a little more mundane. The Light My Fire from Mora. Killed two birds with one stone. I got a stainless steel blade in wet conditions I don't have to worry about maintaining, and ferro rod. Bonus, right? Why not? And of course it's in my favorite blaze orange. Nobody's going to look at this as a tactical weapon or anything, but if I had to use this to defend myself, I could. Got a little bit of cordage, you know, nice plastic blaze orange there. This was my, in case all hell breaks loose and I need a real tool to deal with things. Again, is this overkill for travel? Probably, but again, I was out in Denver and the whole excuse of if we went hiking arose. Moving along, I did pack a bigger flashlight, some heavy lumens. This thing's 220 lumens, a lot better for range than this thing in case of a pinch. This is what I keep by my bed. This is a Nebo Redline. This joker is ridiculously bright, and it's got strobe and SOS settings, which would be nice for signaling. So, a little overkill. Again, how many flashlights can you have? Well, whatever. Extra flashlights, one set of refills for this one and this one, so why not? My medical kit, standard medical things, you know, hygiene, etc. Things that I thought mattered. A little container of Vaseline. Again, can be used as chapstick or something like that. Cover up wounds to keep them from getting wet or infected necessarily if you needed to. And obviously starting fires, that sort of stuff. Hand gel, obviously for sanitation purposes. Believe it or not, I forgot my aftershave. This makes darn good aftershave. This is fine. The alcohol works just fine. So, got that as well. So those little wet ones, just because what if there's contaminated water around? Again, flood season and all that out there. This would be a good way to wash out without using clean, fresh water that might be at a minimum or premium. So there's that. Let's see. I did actually throw in this little dynamo flashlight, little hand crank thing. Again, had the room. Again, overkill. But what if I'm out there long enough the batteries die? What do you do? Now, let me go ahead and say this is a lot of gear. A lot of it was stored when I'm just about to show you. It's not right now because I've already pulled it out, obviously. I thought about water bottles and water retention, those types of things, containing water and carrying it with me. First thought was, of course, a stainless bottle that I could boil in and all that. And I said, you know, everything's soaked. Everything's waterlogged out there. Why in the world would I want something like that and have to boil water, which is going to be a pain? I said, you know, better idea. Here's the better idea with all its gear in it. The Sawyer water filter bottle. I don't have to worry about it. Dump the water in there, drink through the straw, good to go. If I want to add bleach, I could. And I can store a lot of gear in this and see it easily. First modification, I attached a lot of carabiners. Not that I need them all for this container, but if I wanted to carry other things. Carabiners are a good thing, especially with that molly webbing. I've got this carabiner with a little compass on it. Hope you can see that. This little S-shaped one with two edges on it. And this one I just got from Kershaw. Actually has a knife edge on it. Not much of a knife, but I'll do a review on that later. I figure why the heck not. This thing will filter tons and tons of water, way more than I could ever use in any kind of survival situation. I won't open the container here, but I had a lot of this gear stored in there. I've got one of those old military can openers. I've got a set of tweezers, a Mylar blanket, magnesium bar, and ferro rod just because it would fit, another cigarette lighter. I know they tell you that you can't carry cigarette lighters in your carry-on baggage either. I had two this time, no problems whatsoever. I've done it every time I've flown. I've thrown a cigarette lighter in my side pouch of my check-in bag, no problems. Got one of those collapsible towels that unfolds. Got some water purification tablets in there, if you can see that. Got some standard matches, some waterproof matches, etc. And some bouillon cubes, just because why not? So, good bit of gear in there, and a lot of this other stuff fit in there as well. So, I won't go into all that. Now, one thing that I also took that probably overkill, but hey, water bladder. This would fit in the ASAP bag. First thing I did was get this thing attached when I got to the hotel and fill it with 2 liters of water, just in case. I had it if I needed to grab it and go. That's a secondary one. The other one's still got moisture inside I need to clean out. But anyway, 2 extra liters of water plus my bottle. That is a lot of water. Plus the purification tabs if I need those. You know, I could theoretically fill this with dirty water if I absolutely had to, if the water purifier bottle is out of commission or I need extra stuff in a hurry, and I can use the purification tabs in this, or some bleach if I've got that. Last and certainly not least, which you guys may not think is necessary, but I always carry with me no matter where I go, especially when I don't know the terrain, is an atlas. So this is huge. Not in the size of my check-in bag. This is an old one. I obviously need a newer one, but that was in my car. I didn't want to take that out. But an atlas. You don't know where you're going. You don't know directions. The heck with looking at road signs and guessing and asking for directions from folks. Carry an atlas. You can get anywhere you need to go. I knew some doctors who were from South Carolina and stuck in California when 9/11 hit many years ago. And they had to be back to work on the next Monday. And no planes were in the sky. So they ended up renting a car and driving across the country, rotating, drivers until they got back. They said it was an absolute and utter disaster, but the first thing they did before they set out was buy an atlas, so you can save time. You don't have to constantly be asking directions or lose your direction and screw it up. An atlas is a good idea. Even if I ended up just in Colorado, in a town or a city, I could at least get some bearings with an atlas. And again, not necessarily you want to pack around with you all the time, but that would fit in the ASAP bag. I could obviously tear pages out and carry it with me if I needed to, but that fit down the bottom of my check-in luggage just fine. I always carry that with me. One other little last piece I carry with me, which is total redundancy that I did not need, but why not? It's this little SOL survival kit. Survive outdoors longer. Probably not first line gear here, but again, secondary stuff, backup, signal mirror, etc. It had some interesting things in it, fishing hooks and another compass and some other things. I'll review this later. Again, overkill. Anyway, guys, I know I've rambled on, but let me know your thoughts. What could I have improved upon? What could I have cut out? What else should I have done differently? One thing you may think of is, where's his gun? Colorado does not honor my concealed weapons permit, scoundrels. Which, of course, with their recent gun law passages, I don't put anything past them. So, couldn't carry a firearm. Yeah, I could have packed one and not carried it, but what was the point? More trouble than it's worth stopping to buy ammo and then having to leave the ammo or something. Just wasn't worth the trouble. That's just ridiculous having to deal with that in a state that's not gun friendly these days. So here's most of the gear. Tack on this, the bag and the atlas, and you got most of it. Looks like a lot, it's really not. Probably about half of this stuff would still fit in this bag or was in my carry-on, so it didn't take up near as much space as you'd think. Again, I welcome your comments. Andy Prepper out.